Hey, Richard here with Facts for Working People. Just want to plug my blog. We know what's up.blogspot.com is the URL. And I wanted to make some comments here about, because a local guy who was on our city council, I had little bits of discussions with him over the years. He's now looking at possible 25 years for, I believe, bribery, fraud, mismanagement, these various crimes in politics like this. And some time ago, best bikes in the world don't make that sort of noise. But anyway, some time ago when I first met him, he was on the executive board of a union. I think it was the building, one of the building trades, a machinist or something. Well, I'm not sure what sheet metal. I can't remember. But I remember talking to him, and you could tell he was a liberal-minded sort of character, progressive they call him. I don't use that term. But anyway, I said, "What's it like up there?" Because I was active in the union for many years, and in hostile territory, a lot of it. And I said, "What's it like having a battle up there?" He said, "Well, they don't like my policies. They don't like what I stand for." And my immediately thought was, have you gone down into the ranks to present your position, to make sure you campaign among the ranks for your position and against their policies? No. It was clear he wasn't going to do that, because that's what you have to do. I remember one time when I was a minority vote on a leading body, and I was the only oppositionist. I had a different position, and they said, well, I remember them saying to me, well, we have to go to the membership united, you know. I said, no, well, we're not united. I have a different position than you, and I have a different alternative to you to this issue. Well, we've got to go united, isn't it? No, we don't. What you want me to do is go down to the ranks and show that, not say there's any division here. That you want me to take your position. I'm not going to do that, and it denies them the right, the democratic right, to hear both sides. But that's a trick. So he didn't do that, and he went into politics. He's a very liberal, but you know how people love do-gooders. He picked up trash with people at the fit and did this and did that, and he got. I don't know if he got to be mayor, but he clearly got a lot of support, and he's a nice character. He ended up not long ago going to Vietnam, paid for by a capitalist institution, by the Vietnamese businesses, in other words, Vietnamese capitalists, to go to Vietnam, all paid for, first class or business class and everything else. And I remember writing something somewhere about that there's the danger here now. This is a mistake. And then that same family, there's elements of that family that were involved in some sort of fraud and all sorts of criminal activity around business, and I think maybe the management company, what we used to call the dumps. But anyway, that's all sort of irrelevant. So now he's looking at 25 years possibly in jail. He's admitted to bribery, and there's something about he took bribes to get some contract for housing. You know the stuff. That's not the issue here for me. And now he's looking at that 25 years. And when he went to Vietnam, I remember that this is the end for him, because you cannot fight this system from within it. And it was the same as when it's the same in the trade union. Guys would say to me, why don't you run, I could have been a supervisor where I worked, so could Roger Martinez. We both thought very similarly, very different backgrounds in some ways, but not in our class orientation. And I could have probably been a better supervisor than a lot of the other guys in this and the other, or a nastier guy, but I would lose my power. My power was in the workplace, among my own people, among the workers. That was my power. And they don't give you that management job for nothing, you know. So my view of the world is built on my strength in the workplace, our power in the community, our power with other trade unions, our power nationally, and our power internationally. And it was the same when I ran for city council. You can't change from within. Now look at Mamdani. Mamdani, what a wonderful thing to see that was with Mamdani, and he's a very sharp character. And I was very excited when AOC knocked that Democratic Party machine guy down. The first mistake, I say, they're in the Democratic Party. It's death trap for working class people. There's no way out of this mess through that bloody party. If you can't see it now, and hundreds of millions have, that's why people don't vote, and it's why people voted for Trump, and so forth. But there's no way out. So Mamdani, he's got a mildly reformed program. The US capitalist class went after him big time. Financiers, landowners, industrialists, they all went after him. And he won, and he built a base of not just, I think, 200,000 people. And what has he done recently? Well, AOC's already gone. She's a bright star in the Democratic Party. She's done. Now Mamdani, he's just capitulated. There was a rally here recently to tax the rich, like he called for. He's not going to attend because he may upset the Democratic governor, one of the big mucky mucks in the party. It'll put her in conflict with the financiers and the money men that run New York City. So he's already capitulated. Mamdani is done at this point. He could turn things around, but he's not going to. And why not? Because he's got a base there. That base for him was merely a means to win an electoral victory. When I ran for city council in Oakland, I made it clear I cannot change anything. What I can do as a councillor is it gives me more opportunity to help mobilise and get into the community to build a movement that can win these things. I was running on $10 minimum wage and other things. You see? So it's one thing to use an electoral arena in order to build a direct action movement from below that can challenge capital, that can stop the system from running, like throws a spanner in the works, as they say. And he didn't do that. You know, that 100,000. Firstly, committees should be built in each community, in each area, in each community, that deal with defense of that community, with crime in that community, that links up with other areas within that 100,000 and that electoral district he was running in, reaching out to other boroughs, reaching out to other cities, and making it clear we cannot change the system or the downward spiral through either of these two big business parties. This is why Sanders is such a nasty character, a nasty man. He's had plenty of time. He could have left that party instead of sheep herding people back into it. He could have taken Ilhan Omar. There's a number of them. Rashida Tlaib. You don't know who would have come out and formed a left reformist alternative around his platform, which wasn't a bad platform. Jesse Jackson's was very similar in 1988, way before him. And the Democratic Party shut Jackson down as well. This is the problem with that party. You can't reform it. You can't reform it. It's a capitalist party. So I read an article yesterday where it said the big problem was that it aligns itself with the corporate world. It doesn't align itself with them. It's their party. It's a capitalist party. Up until the second part of the American Revolution, the Civil War, it was a slave-owning party. It's now one of the two dominant capitalist parties in the world. You can't change that. You can't change that. And Mamdani's, unfortunately, the chances of him getting out of this now is pretty much nil. And we're back where we started. But it should be a lesson learned from people. The young people need to understand that. Anybody that wants to know about my experience in that party that lives locally, and when I ran for council and stuff like that, I'd be happy to talk with you. All right, take it easy.